There is a condition that does not appear in any medical textbook. No scan can find it, no blood test can detect it. Yet people died from it, not because organs failed first, not because disease destroyed them, but because deep inside the body an ancient system received one message: you are already dead. This is psychogenic death, or voodoo death, but that name makes it sound like superstition. The truth is darker. It may be an ancient human survival system turning against itself. To understand it, go back before hospitals, written law, police, cities, and civilization. For most of history, survival did not belong to the individual, it belonged to the tribe. A human alone was weak, too slow to outrun predators, too fragile to survive hunger, too vulnerable to sleep in the dark. But inside a group, humans had fire, food, protection, language, and meaning. The tribe was not just society, the tribe was life. So the nervous system evolved to treat social rejection as danger. Being abandoned, cursed, shamed, or marked by the group was not emotional pain alone. In the ancient world, it could become death. If your tribe stopped protecting you, you were exposed. If they believed you were doomed, your future disappeared before your body died. This is why words from authority have always had power. The elder, the shaman, the priest, the doctor, the parent, the teacher. Different names, same ancient function. They tell the body what reality is. In 1942, Harvard physiologist Walter Cannon published a paper many scientists found uncomfortable. Cannon was not a mystic. He helped define fight or flight, but he had collected reports from physicians, anthropologists, and observers describing a strange pattern across continents. A person was cursed, a sacred law was broken, a bone was pointed at them by someone with spiritual authority. Then, sometimes within hours or days, they died. There was no wound, no poison, no visible disease. Death had been announced, and the body seemed to obey. Cannon called the phenomenon voodoo death, but his explanation was biological. He believed terror could trap the nervous system in extreme alarm. The heart races, blood vessels tighten, stress hormones flood the body. The system prepares for danger, but the danger is not an animal in the grass. It is a sentence. You are cursed. Cannon thought the body could be frightened to death by belief. Many scientists dismissed the idea. Some evidence was unreliable. Some accounts came through colonial records filled with bias. And the concept sounded too strange because if Cannon was partly right, belief was not only psychological, belief could become physical. Decades later, another scientist found a similar pattern somewhere unexpected. At Johns Hopkins, Curt Richter placed rats into tanks of water to study survival behavior. Some rats swam for a long time. Others died within minutes. At first it looked like exhaustion, but Richter noticed something stranger. Some animals did not die from lack of strength. They died after they appeared to stop expecting survival. Their bodies shut down. Richter described this as sudden death from hopelessness. Cannon believed fear killed by pressing the body's accelerator too hard. Richter suggested another possibility. Sometimes the body dies by pressing the brake too hard. The nervous system can speed the heart up in panic, but it can also slow the heart down in surrender. That is the ancient horror underneath this phenomenon. The body does not only fight for survival. Sometimes it may decide survival is impossible, and that decision can begin outside the body, in a curse, in a diagnosis, in a label, in a sentence spoken by someone the nervous system trusts. By the 1960s and 1970s, medicine noticed its own version of this pattern. Patients were told they had terminal illnesses. Some died much faster than their condition predicted. Sometimes they died before the disease could have killed them. Medicine already knew about placebo. A person believes they are receiving help, and the body improves. But placebo has a darker twin, nocebo. A person believes harm is coming, and the body prepares for harm. In 1973, a man in a Nashville hospital was diagnosed with end-stage liver cancer. His doctor, Clifton Meador, told him he had only weeks to live. The man died within those weeks. Then the autopsy came back. The cancer existed, but it was small, too small to explain the speed of his death. His body did not contain enough disease to kill him that quickly. Meador spent years thinking about it. He began to wonder whether the diagnosis itself had become part of the disease, whether the man had died partly because someone with authority told him he would. This is where ancient psychology enters modern life, because the nervous system does not perfectly separate a shaman holding a bone from a doctor holding a chart. It does not fully separate a tribal curse from a medical prognosis. It does not always know the difference between danger and expectation. It listens to authority. Then it prepares the body for the reality it has been given. That same mechanism appears in smaller ways every day. A child is told they are slow. A student is told they are not gifted. A patient is told their body is fragile. A lonely person is told they are unwanted. A generation is told it is broken, anxious, weak, or doomed. Most of these sentences do not kill, but they shape posture. They shape confidence. They shape pain. They shape memory. They shape what feels possible. This is not magic. It is neuroscience, anthropology, and history meeting in the same dark place. Humans evolved inside stories. Before science, stories told us which plants were poisonous, which animals were sacred, which strangers were dangerous, which gods were angry, which people belonged, and which people had to be cast out. Civilization changed the stories, but it did not remove the ancient mind that believes them. Today, we no longer gather around fires waiting for elders to explain the world. We gather around screens. We receive diagnoses from doctors, identities from algorithms, fears from headlines, worth from numbers, and shame from strangers we will never meet. The tribe has become digital, but the body is still ancient. It still reacts to rejection as danger. It still treats authority as reality. It still stores certain words deeper than thought. This is why labels become prisons. In the monster study, children in an Iowa orphanage were told they were beginning to stutter. Many spoke normally before, but after adults repeatedly warned them about their speech, some became anxious, withdrawn, and silent. The label did not simply describe them, it changed them. That is the hidden psychology behind psychogenic death. A false story, repeated with enough authority, can become a physical fact. The body runs on blood, oxygen, and nerves, but it also runs on meaning. And meaning is dangerous because it can be inherited from people who were wrong. Canon ended with a question science still has not fully answered. If belief can harm the body, can belief also heal it? Placebo research suggests it can, but the answer is unsettling. The cure often requires the same thing as the curse. A new sentence from someone the nervous system trusts. You are not doomed. You are not broken. This story is not the truth. Your body does not have to obey it anymore. Maybe that is the older form of medicine. Before pills, before surgery, before hospitals, humans had words. Words around fires, words in rituals, words from mothers, words from healers, words from the tribe. Some words kept people alive, some helped them endure pain, and some entered the body like poison. Modern humans believe we escaped the ancient world, but we still carry its machinery. We still fear exile, we still obey authority, we still become the stories repeated over us. We still live inside sentences written by people who may not have understood what they were doing. The most disturbing lesson of psychogenic death is not that belief can kill. It is that the human body is always listening to history, to culture, to family, to medicine, to fear, to the tribe. And maybe the question is not whether you are carrying an old story. You are. The question is, who gave it to you, and why did your ancient mind believe them?